जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनारंजना। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनारंजना। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तरशत श्री श्रीमद अभय चरणारविंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 11, Text 2. Sauchakashe davalodaro daro api urukramasya adarsho na shonima. Dadmayamana karakanja sampute यताब्जखंडे कलहंस उत्स्वनः। सौच्चकाशे धवलोदरोदरो अपि युरुक्रमस्य दर्शो न शोनिमा। दद्मायमाना करकंज संपुते यताब्जखंडे कलहंस उत्स्वनः। सौच्चकाशे धवलोदरोदरो अपि युरुक्रमस्य अदर्शो न शोनिमा। दद्यमाना करकंज संपुते यताब्जखण्डे कलहंस उत्स्वना कंज संपुते यतां जकंडे कलहंस उत्स्वना Mataji, Saha, that Uchchakashe became brilliant, Dhavala Udaraha, white and fat bowel, Daraha, conchal, Api, although it is so, Urukramasya, of the great adventurer, Adharashona, by the transcendental quality of his lips, Shonima, reddened, Dadmayamana, being sounded, Karakanja Sampute, being caught by the grip of the lotus hand, Yata, as it is, Abjakande, by the stems of the lotus flowers, Kalahamsaha, duckling swan, Utsvanaha, loudly sounding. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. The white and fat-boweled conchal, being gripped by the hand of the Lord Krishna and sounded by him, appeared to be reddened by the touch of his transcendental lips. It seemed that a white swan was playing in the stems of the red lotus flowers. Purport. The redness of white conchal due to lip touch of Lord is a symbol of spiritual significance. The Lord is all spirit, and matter is ignorance of this spiritual existence. Factually, there is nothing like matter in spiritual enlightenment, and this spiritual enlightenment takes place at once by the contact of the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. The Lord is present in every particle of all existence, and He can manifest His presence in anyone by ardent love and devotional service to the Lord, or in other words, by spiritual contact with the Lord. Everything becomes spiritually reddened like the conchal in the grip of the Lord, and the Paramahamsa, or the supremely intelligent person, plays the part of the ducking swan in the water of spiritual bliss, eternally decorated by the lotus flower of the Lord's feet. Om Ajnantimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurau Shri Utapada Kamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. To seeking the blessings of all assembled Vaishnavas, because it is very difficult to sit here and speak, especially after a period of 10 years. So after 10 years I am sitting here. So after 10 years I am sitting here to speak Bhagavatam, and having the knowledge that this seat, this Vyasasan of Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Mandir is a very highly esteemed seat, because the whole world sees and admires it. So therefore it becomes still more difficult to speak, because we have to be very, very careful in what we are speaking. But by the mercy of my Shiksha Guru, I'll attempt to speak something, and I was told in the morning only, so things are very hazy, but I'll make an attempt, insignificant attempt to speak something. So here, in this chapter, Krishna is, after finishing his duties in Hastinapur, he is returning back to Dwarka, and before, right at the outskirts, he is blowing his conch shell to make the announcement that yes, no need to worry, because the Dwarka was, especially each and every resident of Dwarka, of all categories, they are too much in anxiety, too much worried, because it has been a long time Krishna has been out of them. So for devotees to be in separation from Krishna is the most difficult thing. But as we know that Krishna may put his devotees in very difficult situations, but at the same time he also knows their limitations, how much they can bear, how much they can be pulled on, how much they can be dragged to. And when Krishna sees that yes, this is their limit, he makes his arrival. And here we see that even before Krishna entering Dwarka, he is announcing his arrival by blowing his conch shell, right? So that to pacify all the residents over there, that please, I am there now, I am coming. So this is of great hope. And one needs to have faith in this aspect of the Lord, that Lord will never test his devotees beyond their capacity. Many lessons are there in this small purport, but we'll try to speak something. So Krishna's blowing of conch shell, and here specifically Shukdev Goswami speaks of that the flat-boweled conch shell, which is white like a hamsa, but just by the touch of the red lotus lips of the Lord, what happened? The whole conch shell, especially that aspect, that part of the conch shell, is turned reddened. So the whole subject matter, what I would like to speak is the power of spiritual touch, and which Prabhupada speaks here. That at once by the contact of the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, spiritual enlightenment takes place. So if you understand this small verse and this small purport here, our whole attempt of Srila Prabhupada creating this international society for Krishna consciousness is summed up in this verse. As Prabhupada mentions in Nectar of Instruction, I suppose, in that Dadati Pratigrinati, he says, we are creating these temples for what? To give an opportunity to people in general to come and associate with devotees. That means to come in touch and get the spiritual enlightenment. So this is the primary activity or the primary function of our society. Just to give people a touch, an experience, to get them to the platform of spiritual enlightenment. Without that touch, it is not possible. Knowing that Krishna is so powerful, just by his touch, even when Srila Prabhupada went there, from India to America, with that faith, that yes, if Krishna touches them, if they come in touch with the holy name, if they come in touch with the process, everything will take place. Just like this conch shell. Conch shell, what is a conch shell? It is a material subject matter. It is simply a dead bone. Is it not? But just by coming in touch with Krishna, that conch shell has become reddened. That means it has acquired, it has become spiritual, even though being material. Is it not? So this is what Krishna consciousness is all about. So, irrespective of who we are, what we are, if somehow or the other, we can come in touch with Krishna or anything in relationship with Krishna, that is the path of perfection. Right? And throughout Bhagavatam, throughout Chaitanya Charitamrita, this whole aspect is being seen. Right? Irrespective of who we are, irrespective of what we are, what our background is, if we can somehow or the other come in touch, life becomes perfect. But Vaishnavas are more merciful. We may not go, we may not be in a position to come in touch, but they will come and give their merciful association to us so that the transformation takes place. Is it not? That is the whole purpose of our society. And that is why devotees all around, they are traveling, they are preaching. Why? Just to get them in touch with this Krishna consciousness movement. With that faith, that if they come in touch, that touch will take care of everything. Is it not? That touch will take care of everything. So therefore, we see the power of the spiritual touch. The spiritual touch is so powerful that anything, even to the extent of a dull matter, a bone, a dead bone, like conch shell, can be transformed and acquire the qualities of Krishna. So many things are there, so many examples of this. But I would like to just come to the first topic and then we can go for the examples. So as I said, the subject to be discussed is the spiritual touch. But will only the spiritual touch bring about transformation? Yes, but not to that extent in which, or to that extent which is supposed to be. So what is the primary requirement to have that spiritual touch and benefit of that spiritual touch? Otherwise, we see it during our preaching activities, we are touching so many people. Devotees are traveling so many places, but not everybody is transformed. Not everybody becomes Krishna conscious. Not everybody takes up this process. Why? So that subject matter is there, that what is the thing that will actually help people to take advantage of this spiritual touch? There are only two things. One is appreciation. We have to appreciate that spiritual touch. That's the first thing. And second thing is, we have to depend on that spiritual touch. But that dependency will not come if we don't have faith in that spiritual touch. So therefore, what is the requirement to have that spiritual faith? It is that knowledge. And this is what Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita provides. So many pastimes, so many narrations, just to develop that faith and to nourish that faith. For what purpose? So that we depend on that spiritual touch. And with faith, just we know that, bhakti begins with Adav Shraddha. We begin our devotional life with faith. And then the whole process starts. Then Nishtha and last, finally, in between that, the tender faith is converted into Nishtha, a mature Nishtha. And then finally, that prema and bhava prema, all that thing comes. But at least, in the beginning stage, if we can have little faith, and with that faith, if we can depend on this spiritual touch, or whatever the aspects of spiritual touch are there, then definitely transformation will take place. So therefore, as Padma Puran says, and Prabhupada quotes in Chaitanya Charitamrita also, that Lord Shiva is telling Parvati, that simple, the commonly used verse, Aradhanam Sarvesham Vishnu Aradhanam Param. After all worships, what is more important? Worship of the superior form of worship is worshipping Lord Vishnu. But he's telling, my dear Devi, that Tasmat Parataram Devi, even superior to that is Tadiyanam Samacharam. Tadiyanam Samacharam. That anything, whether it be devotees or anything coming in association, in coming in touch with the Lord, if we can somehow or the other make our touch with that thing, life is perfect. Life is perfect. And this is Lord Shiva's word. It is not that just we have to come in touch with the Lord. It may not be possible. We may not be in a position to come in touch with pure devotees. That may not be possible. But whoever is connected, that's why this parampara is so important. It may be our Siksha Guru. We may not be in a position to have association with Diksha Guru. Even our Siksha Guru is there, our colleagues are there. And so many aspects of devotional life. Devotional life offers so many things for us. So many varieties of spiritual touches. But only thing is, do we have appreciation for those things? And do we depend on those things with faith? And what is that faith? That just by coming in touch with those things, I'll get purified. Transformation of my heart will take place. If that faith is there, and we have to depend on that, then for sure it will take place. So therefore, there are so many examples are there, just whatever little bit came to my mind. We see that, many times, like I've give some examples from Bhagavatam. Like first example is Devavati and Kardam Muni. Now Devavati, she is the daughter of Swayambhuva Manu. And Kardam Muni is simply an ascetic. He does not have anything. But one fine day, Swayambhuva Manu comes with his daughter, hands over to Kardam Muni and says, okay, he is your husband now, I am going. Imagine, that girl who is so beautiful, so tender, everything, in all aspects, not at all fit to stay in jungle. Is it not? No comforts, no luxuries. But still, she is serving Kardam Muni for such a long time, to the extent that even by Kardam Muni does not even know that, his wife is existing. He is so much absorbed in tapasya. But still she is serving. Why? It is not easy to serve someone. Devavati was serving Kardam Muni. Why? Not seeing his riches, his opulence. No? In this world, people, they imitate, they serve. Because they know, if I continue to serve him now, iska property mera ho jayega. He has so much of his wealth, so much of name, fame, everything. I will be a part of that. It's my share. Kardam Muni did not have anything materially. But she knew who this personality is. He's a big tapasvi. That person was been directly instructed by the Lord himself. And therefore, she continued to serve him with full love, without any grudge. Not writing to her father, my dear father, what's my condition? In today's day and time, if such thing happens, first thing is the daughter would call up his father, father, this is my condition. Please come and take me. It's difficult for me to bear with this person. He does not even ask me, how are you? He's lost in his own world. But still she's continuing. Why? Because she knows who that person is. By the power of his tapasya, by coming in touch with that spirit, coming in contact with that spiritual touch, that body is no longer material. And if I serve, if I come in contact with that spiritually enlightened body, I will also get enlightened, I will also get transformed. My material body will also become spiritual. Just like an iron, Prabhupada is an example. If it is put in fire, normal iron rod, you place it anywhere, no, nothing will happen. But after placing that iron rod in the fire, keeping it for some time, it becomes red, it acts like a fire. It is no longer iron rod. And if you take that red rod and keep it somewhere, immediately there will be fire. Is it not? Otherwise, what is an iron rod without fire? So similarly, even though It's a matter. Prabhupada says, actually from spiritual sense, there's nothing called as matter. But even if you think something to be a matter, but just our understanding is not to see that this is matter. As devotees, to continue our service in devotional service, and the last thing which I'll speak is, not to commit offense. The root cause of all offense is what? Not seeing the connection of that matter with the spirit and the effect of that spirit on that matter. Then we start committing offense at different levels. Is it not? So therefore, Devoti did not commit any offense. Why? She knew that this person is completely spiritualized. And she reaped the results of that. To the extent, so many material things may be there, material benefits she derived. But the Lord's incarnation, the Lord is incarnating as her son. Who can have that fortune? Who can have that fortune? Only through proper understanding, through proper faith, and appreciating that person. So, that is how Devoti benefited. Now, we see in Damodar Leela, when Krishna was tied and Mother Yashoda left, she was inside busy with her work. So now Krishna is telling what to do now. He's the hot sun and he's looking at those two trees, Yamalarjuna trees. So Shukdev Goswami says, Krishna is considering that I have nothing to do with you all. Because you all are not my devotees. You all have not engaged in my devotional service. I have nothing to do with you all. Is it not? But still, I will deliver you all. Imagine. Still, I will deliver you all. Why? Just because you all have come in touch with Narad Muni and my pure devotee has spoken. He has told you all, he has benedicted you all that you all will be delivered through me. So just because you all have come, we know what Manigriva and Manigriva and Nalkuver were. Is it not? But just by coming in touch with Narad Muni, even though in the form of curse, what happened? They were benedicted. That Krishna will come and deliver you all. So just to make the words of his devotees true, Krishna says, I will deliver you all. And they were delivered. They were transformed to devotees. Is it not? This is Krishna. This is spiritual touch. This is spiritual touch. They were not connected with Krishna. But somehow or the other, they came in touch with Narad Muni. And what happened? They were blessed. Their life was transformed. And then we see, even Hiranyakashipu tried all ways and all means, to destroy Prahlad. Now we see, in TV serial or here, they try to kill him, they throw him, they put the sword in his body, but nothing happens. He is not killed. Even to the extent that Hiranyakashipu's sister, Holika, she says, don't worry. Even though all your attempts have failed, I am there. I have been specially benedicted by Brahma, but I will not be affected by fire. So I will take him on my lap, and you all can ignite. And then he will get burnt, and I will come out safely. But what is the result? She got burnt away, and Prahlad came out of the fire, unaffected. So how do we understand this? How Prahlad was unaffected by each and everything, even by poison or by being boiled or being thrown from the mountain. The only answer for this is, Prahlad's body was no longer material. It was completely spiritualized. Is it not? So, Nainam Chindanti Shastrani Nainam Dahati Pavaka. Is it not? Krishna says. So, no material things can affect the soul. And what is soul? It is a fragment of that Supreme Soul. So, when matter cannot affect a fragment, how it can affect the whole? So, Prahlad's body being in that spiritual touch of Krishna consciousness, what happened? His body was no longer material. It became completely spiritualized. Completely spiritualized. Unaffected, not influenced by any material thing. So therefore, many times devotees say, no, अरे ये problem है, अरे वो problem है, ये करने का, वो करने का. Why am I suffering so much? Bhakti ठीक से करो. Get spiritualized. That is the only solution. To the extent we increase our contact with our spiritual activities, to that extent we will be unaffected by material things. That is the only solution. There is no other solution. This, that will not work. So many things, so many solutions, nothing is going to work except devotional service. Unless and until you come in touch with that spiritual touch, you have to come in contact with that. There is no other way to mitigate any problems or to overcome anything. And the easiest thing is what? Holy name. For us, for Jivas of Kali Yuga, the holy name is there and deities are there. All the 5 angas. Rupa Goswami gives 64 angas, but out of that at least 5 to karo. Even if you come with those 5 essential angas, you are out. You are completely free from this material entanglement. You have the holy name, you have association of devotees, you have deities, you have Bhagavatam, you have Dham, और क्या चाहिए? But only problem, in spite of we having all these things, is we are lacking back because we don't have appreciation for that. Like yesterday, Dean Gaurang Prabhu was telling, that was a lesson I took for me. He is telling, even though we stay in the ashram, subah darshan le liya na ho gaya, till evening we don't come again. And same thing was with me also. Like for our deities to get installed, I was yearning for years together. When will you get installed? When you get installed, I worship and I worship. But after the morning program gets over, till evening, before I go for some preaching program, I don't enter temple hall. Where is that? Where is that appreciation and that longing? And therefore what happens? The deities remain deities only. Deities are there. Association is there. Bhagavatam is there. Holy name is there. But because we are not depending on it, and why we are not depending? Because we don't have that full faith. And even if that faith is there, it's like, waves coming up and down. Whenever in difficulty, that faith comes up, and whenever things become, conducive, when comfort zone comes, again that waves goes down. Again, kuch problem aaya, oh my dear Lord, again you are before the deities. Again, when things are working, going on very nicely, theek hai, aap apne par raho, main apne par rehta hu. This is our condition. Even that faith is there, it is like waves, tossing up and down. And that appreciation is not there. Just like that Brahmana going to Vrindavan and telling Gopal, my dear Gopal, please come, bear witness. Because that elderly Brahmana, he spoke before you, that he will give his daughter to me. But now he is refusing. So please come and bear witness. So the Lord is saying, have you ever heard a deity walking? So he is saying, if a deity can talk, a deity can walk. And the Lord surrenders to him. And he has that faith. The next line saying is, Murti nahi tumi sakshat Brajendra Nandan. You are not a deity. You are sakshat Brajendra Nandan. So therefore, for your devotee, karo tumi akaryam. There's something which is impossible, do it. And the Lord simply shuts his mouth and says, okay, I will come. 1 kilo chawal banana bas. Make an offering of 1 kg rice every day, and I am coming with you. And we see the Lord literally walks behind him. All the way from Vrindavan to Vijayanagaram. It's not a joke. Because he has that faith and is dependent. His dependency is based on faith. And faith is based on understanding. So similarly, Prahlad had that faith. If the Lord is there, as Prabhupada speaks, He's there in each and every particle of all existence. When Hiranyakashipu asked, is he there in this pillar? Even without a second's doubt or thought, it is not like that, कि जाके पूछता हूँ, hey भगवान है क्या? आ गए क्या? It was not a drama. Like we see people play Narsimha drama, they make an artificial pillar of cardboard or fiber, whatever, of thermocol, and that character who plays the part of Narsimhadev, he comes in between, he comes in that, and he's waiting, अरे कभी dialogue होगा. Why? Because he's feeling so hot. And we know this Narsimha Chaturdashi always comes in peak of summer. And that person has to stay inside the pillar at least for half an hour. Right? And he is just waiting. Kab dialogue, kab Hiranyakashipu maru aur kab when come out there. And sometimes there may be some delay. It is not that, Are aaya ki nahi aaya? Prahlad is not going asking, my dear Lord, are you there or not? What should I speak? Now my father is asking. I'm in a very, dharma sankat. Kya bolu? Even without a second's delay, saying, yes, he is there. And just because he has that faith, and with that faith, he's saying, yes, it is there. Satyam vidhatum nijavritti bhashitam. Vyaptim cha bhuteshu akhileshu chatmani. That Lord, who's all-pervading, manifested himself from that pillar just to make the words of his devotees come true. So that was Prahlad's faith. That was his dependency. When Prithu Maharaj, when he was asked by Lord Brahma, stop your yajna. 99 were done, 100 was going on. And after 101, he completes it and definitely was sure to complete it. He would have been successful. But because of all that thing that happens, that Indra does, Brahmaji comes and tells, stop that yajna. Now, none of us would have stopped that. Is it not? But still he agrees and he takes a step back. He gives up that yajna. Why? Because he knows who Brahma is. He has faith in the words of Brahma, knowing the position of Lord Brahmaji. And therefore, he is ready to follow. Imagine if we would have been placed in that situation, we would have never accepted. But Indra क्या को बोल रहा, मुझे क्यों बोल रहे हो? है कि नहीं? I am not the culprit. Indra is the culprit. If you want to stop him, if you really want to stop him. He is doing all wrong. It's not me. But it's not a matter of right and wrong. Who's right and who's wrong. It's a matter of who that opposite person is and what he wants. ठीक है? If you are saying, I know who you are, you will not speak like that because you are not an ordinary person. You are the representative of Lord. You are directly born from the navel of the Lord. You are the person who gets all the information. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kave. So if you are speaking, that means definitely the Lord wants this. Lord is speaking through you. He had that understanding. So therefore, even without a second's thought, he said, okay, I give it up. He gave up that. And what is the result? Result was that by performing that Ashwamedha Yajnas, he would have got Indrapad. Is it not? So as Gaurampur very beautifully in his discourse, he speaks like that, What do you want? Do you want Indrapad or do you want seat in the Lord's heart? स्वर्लोक की कुर्सी चाहिए या भगवान के हृदय की कुर्सी चाहिए? Is it not? The Lord personally manifested there. He appeared over there in the Yajnashala and is blessing Maharaj Prithu. Why? Because Prithu Maharaj just followed Brahmaji's words. He appreciated the position of Lord Brahma and therefore he took his words very seriously. And then we see my favorite pastime, of Chaitanya Charitamrita is Maharaj Prataprudra. Maharaj Prataprudra tried his best, all the ways, to somehow or the other, to get one audience with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But in spite of his position and power and all what he had, he realized it was not possible. Then what did he do? He simply took shelter of devotees. And what made him take shelter of devotees? Because he appreciated all those devotees, because he knew who those devotees were. Right on the terrace of that palace, when all the devotees were coming from Bengal that year to spend their 4 months of Chaturmasya with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sarum Bhattacharya is there on top. And he is telling, see, this person, he is he. This person is he. Whole description is there, Kaviraj Goswami saying. And just by hearing from him, he developed so much appreciation. And therefore what happened? He was completely dependent on them. That it's only you, only y'all, who can make this thing possible. What is that? my audience with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And because that dependency was there, this is a whole problem, that we don't depend. And because our dependency was there, the whole group of devotees, to the extent of Nityananda Prabhu, was also worried. How to have an audience, how to get Sri Chaitanya, how to convince Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to meet him at least once. He will die, he is ready to give up his kingdom. He is ready to give his kingdom and become a beggar. If that is what is an obstruction for him, meeting Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So first time, Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Prabhu just tells, my dear Lord, okay, if you are not meeting, don't meet. At least give him your one set of clothes. Is it not? And somehow the Lord agrees. Okay, you can give him. And imagine, when Maharaj Prataparudra receives that one set of clothes, it is not a, अरे कपड़ा लेके क्या करूं? Is it not? अरे कपड़ा आदमी नहीं मिलता, कपड़ा लेके क्या करूं? But he worshipped those clothes as much as he would worship Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Why? That tadiya which is there. These clothes have been worn by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Even though it may be clothes, but being in touch with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, these clothes have been completely spiritualized, and they have the power. These clothes have that power to give me that satisfaction and transfer my life. Is it not? And you worship those clothes. Just like we are wearing these garlands. Why? Just like because you want to wear garlands, you like garlands? No. Just because, imagine these garlands are there for 12 hours, more than 8 to 9 hours. From 9 p.m. till morning 5 a.m., 5:30. Completely in touch with the Lord's body, the transcendental body. क्या power देगा इसमें? But provided we appreciate it, we understand this, then this will have effect on us. Just like we all of us know, all of us have family doctors, and majority of the times in villages, especially because I am in village, they are not full-fledged or doctors who have full degrees. They are simple quacks, RMPs, registered medical practitioners. But where the villagers will go? To that doctor only. And even when we were small in Bombay also, we had our family doctor. He was simply MBBS. But we had full faith. So many other doctors are there. नहीं, इनके पास जाएंगे ना, ये tablet दे, whatever he may give a placebo also. The disease is gone. The fever is why? It was more than the medicine. It was that the faith in the person who is giving that medicine. That is what actually empowers that medicine, that our faith in that person. So similarly, this flower garland also. If you have that faith, and if you depend, when wearing this garland, oh my dear garland, oh Mahaprasad, bring about transformation. Soften this heart. Definitely will happen. Definitely will happen. मतलब हम तो हर दिन पहनते हैं, क्यों नहीं होता है? डिपेंडेंसी नहीं है, पेन लिया, सूंघ लिया, खत्म हो गया. That Sankshobanam is not happening. What Sankshobanam took place in the heart of the 4 Kumaras, just by smelling the tulasi and the chandana. Now the Chandan Yatra is going on. The DDP department may distribute all the Chandan Mahaprasad. But what will take? We'll take it. पहले दिन थोड़ा मुंह में डाल देंगे, and then after that episode where that packet goes, we don't know. Some other one day while cleaning the locker or somewhere we get that packet. That Chandan was in the touch of the Lord. That can transform our hearts. That has that power. But little bit faith is there. We don't appreciate. That appreciation is not there. But Maharaj Prataparudra, he appreciated. First, the clothes, and second time, another plan. Please get his son. You meet his son. And his son was, dark, young, 14, 15-year-old boy, chubby boy. And when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu looked at that boy, he felt as if he's seeing Krishna. And Mahaprabhu embraced him like anything. And after that, boy went back to his father, Maharaj Prataparudra. Maharaj Prataprudra embraced his son as if he is embracing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That moment he was not his son. For that moment he was Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. Why? He is appreciating his son. You are more fortunate than me. You have been blessed, you have been touched by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Why all these things? See, imagine, he is a king, he has all the power, he has all the wealth, he can do anything. He can get Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his palace. But hearing from devotees, hearing from Sarvam Bhattacharya, hearing from Kashi Mishra, he understood who Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is. So therefore Srimad Bhagavatam, therefore our Shastra, therefore regularly hearing and regularly reading, what does it give? It creates our faith. Or Nityam Bhagavata Seva, it maintains that faith. And therefore with that faith, we can relate to the Lord, the Lord's devotees, and everything in relationship to the Lord. Then the transformation will take place. And then third time, when the Rath Yatra is taking place, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu expanded himself to all the 7 groups. Is it not? All the 7 groups, and each and every group was feeling that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was with them only. And it was not that Mahaprabhu was not there, he was there. But except the pure devotees, nobody could see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in all the 7 groups. But Maharaj Prataprudra could see that. He could witness that. Why? Because he was blessed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And what made Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bless him or being pleased with him? His humble menial service of brooming the road. So what makes Sri Maharaj Prataprudra to broom that, to clean that entire road, taking a broom in his hand? He has that proper understanding that who's there on the chariot. For whom am I brooming this? And what is the purpose of this brooming? And because of that humble menial attitude, Mahaprabhu blessed him with that vision where he could see, where he could witness him dancing in all the 7 groups. And afterwards, because Mahaprabhu was dancing and all the devotees, detailed description is there, they are forming circles. So at Mahaprabhu, because he is jumping here and there, he is falling here and there. Then our Maharaj Prataprudra, he is standing there with his secretary Harichandan. So normally, secretary, servant, they always have this attitude, whoever comes in front, hey, baju, 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 side ho jao. This is the nature of servants and secretaries. They want their master to get the full benefit. So Maharaj Prataprudra is seeing that beautiful dance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but in between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the king was Srivas Thakur. He was absorbed in seeing that beautiful dance. But Harichandan, he could not understand the position of Srivas Thakur. And what was? Thoda side, please. Once, twice, thrice. Was disturbing Srivas. And Srivas was absorbed in seeing the beautiful dance of the Lord. And when he got disturbed, once okay, twice okay. Imagine, you are focused on something, somebody is irritating you. One slap to Harichandan. Such a powerful slap that practically Harichandan never expected that. And he became so angry. Harichandan, to retaliate, he became so angry, he was about to, go and speak some harsh words to Srivas. But Maharaj Prataprudra immediately stopped him. Immediately stopped him. Saying what? Bhagyavana tumi ihar hasta sparsha paila. What is this? झापड़ो क्या बोल रहे? हस्त स्पर्श. बोले सामने आ जाओ, क्या करना है? हस्त स्पर्श करना है. Say you are so fortunate. Bhagyavan tumi ihar. Ihar means Srivasas. Bhagyavan tumi ihar harsas hasta sparsha paila. Amara bhagya nahi tumi kritartha hoila. What fortune you have, I have not got that fortune. So therefore be grateful. Appreciate that. Now why Prataprudra, what makes Maharaj Prataprudra speak this? because he knows the position of Srivas. And we see in Navadvip, all those who could not understand Srivas' position, what did they do? Whether it be Gopal Chapal, whether it be Devanand Pandit, they simply committed offenses. As I said, if you don't understand the position, if you don't appreciate, and when we don't appreciate actually, we know, but when does our appreciation come down? At least this I'm telling from my own personal experience. When things don't go according to us, or when the opposite person whom you are really appreciating, you know their position, but you want them to act according to us. If they are favorable to us, if they are getting our work done, then our appreciation increases more. That means our appreciation is based on, say, material, tangible things, not on their spiritual position, that who they are. Then what happens? You commit offense. Gopal Chapal could not understand Srivas Thakur's position. Devanand Pandit, he could not understand that, here is a person who cannot be even for a single moment without chanting Hare Krishna. And he was literally chanting, and he says, his servants threw him out. And he did not even speak a word. So when you don't appreciate, this is a problem. But when you appreciate it, when you simply appreciate with full faith, and with faith comes with proper understanding, what happens? Full transformation. Madhvendra Puri. Madhvendra Puri, I'll just give you the example because time is running up. Madhvendra Puri was, when he was offered that kheer pot by that pujari at night. Now, so many of us get it. What do we do? Especially if you go to Radha Raman. We'll eat that sweet and throw that cooler here and there. Why? Because our consideration is just that sweet, but sweet khane se fayda hoga. But Madhvendra Puri did not just eat that sweet. He broke that pot into pieces. He tied in his cloth, and every day he was eating one piece. Why? Because definitely, when the Lord accepted that sweet rice, he must have touched that pot. So that pot also became spiritual. That pot has that power, as good as that sweet rice. So even if somebody does not give us sweet rice, if give that pot also, how many of you appreciate that? बोले सब खा लिया और pot दे रहा है क्या? है कि नहीं? असली माल खा लिया और pot ले क्या करूँगा? But if we have that faith, that pot will bring about that transformation. And therefore we see, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after taking sannyas, when he wanted to go to meet the birthplace of his spiritual master, Ishwar Puri, to Kumarhatta, what happened? He just had that understanding, this is the place where my spiritual master took birth. He collected some dust from there, tied it, and every day Mahaprabhu would eat that dust. How many of us will do that? And what is the result? Now if you go to Kumarhatta, you will find a big lake only. Because devotees after that, following the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they go and collect some dust from there, some mud from there. And in that process, a big lake has been formed. So a very big aspect is there. It's a big subject matter. But the only basic thing is, if we can somehow or the other develop appreciation for the Lord, and more than the Lord, is whoever is around us, especially devotees, and things in relationship with the Lord and devotees, if we can develop appreciation and depend on them with full faith that they will actually bring about transformation of heart. They will uplift us. With that faith, if we depend with that appreciation, definitely we may be like conch shell, flat-bowled conch shell, but that will be touched. That will absorb the red color of the Lord's lotus feet. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Please forgive me. I am very incoherent in my speech. So there will be no chronology, but whatever came to my mind, I just spoke. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.